BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
This is the Yungblud podcast. Turn up that volume. Happy! Hello, you beautiful people. My guest this week is our youngest yet, all the way from Salt Lake City in the United States of America. Eve is 17 and she's in a senior year at high school. But she had to miss a lot of class over the past couple of years because of a very rare condition she has, which causes tumours to grow in her head. The doctors say she has a spontaneous genetic mutation, but she likes to call herself a ninja turtle. I love that, man. Eve has such an incredible outlook on life. She says she wants to help people find hope in a world that can feel hopeless. What a line. She's so profound, she's so poetic, she's so one of the most incredible speakers I've ever literally witnessed. Not even capping. So I can't wait to chat to Eve. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Yo, Eve, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Dude, I'm so excited to have you on, man. This completely blew my mind. Your story absolutely kind of took me to the moon and back. And the best line I think that I've ever heard on the podcast is the doctors say I'm a spontaneous genetic mutation. I say I'm a ninja turtle. I just think, dude, I connect with that. I'm so out there with you. I'm right there with you. I love that, man.
I feel like when your doctors call you a biological freak so much, it kind of gets boring, and you're just like, nope, we're gonna label it as something else, something more positive, make me feel better about myself.
Dude, I love it, man. I love the Ninja Turtles. So, tell me a little bit about your condition. How old were you when you kind of were diagnosed with it?
So, I was diagnosed when I was 12, but I've had symptoms since I was 8. But they believe that the tumor first came to be when I was a toddler. So I've kind of always had it my whole life. I just didn't know what was causing the issues that I have. So, okay, this is a really long word. It's called multiple endocrineoplasia is what I have. I know, it's a mouthful. But usually it's a genetic disease and it's passed down. However, with mine, the doctors have no idea why I have it. They know what it is, but they don't know the how or the why. And so my condition's actually been studied a lot. I spent a lot of times in front of college classes as doctors poke and prod me, and they're like, oh, this is what this does, and da-da-da-da-da. So I kind of a lab rat type of thing.
I think what made me made my heart so warm, you kind of really want to help people find hope and kind of an answer and a message if they are going through something that's similar to you, or maybe not going through something that's similar to you, going through any health condition. I think your story is so inspiring, and you kind of got that outlook and that courage that it's just kind of something that I really thought needed to be amplified on this podcast, and a lot of people are going to relate. So I think you're incredible. What are some of the complications from your condition? I bet it takes its toll a lot on everyday life. Yeah.
Actually, it's funny because the weirdest part about my condition is I look like I'm fine. I don't look like I have health issues. So a lot of the time I'll tell people oh, I can't do so-and-so because of this. And they'll look at me and they'll think that I'm lying or something. And it's no, I promise I'm not. And then I'll try to be athletic or something, and I'll just pass out. And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, she wasn't lying. This is a real thing. The first time that I really passed out, I was on a family vacation. And my aunt was doing my hair. And I hit the door frame and I went down. And when I came to, my uncle was standing above me and was like, okay, you passed out, but I'm hungry. So we're going to go get food. You have 5 minutes to get in the car. And I was like, okay, I'm coming. That's just kind of what my life
crazy.
Is. Yeah.
Just to be yo, you passed out, but we're going to get some food. Get up. That's crazy to me. So what is the treatment like for it? So you have to take a lot of medication, or I bet it's a lot, by your face.
Yeah, so since my condition is so odd in the way that it's formed, I actually have to take an experimental medication because it's not cancer, so I can't take radiation, but it's something kind of similar to that. Usually they only give it to the elderly because it's so experimental, but they don't give it to people as young as me. So it causes heart issues and worsens anxiety and things like that. And it's actually really rare. So sometimes I have to go without the medication for a while because we can't get the medication.
So sometimes you physically just have to just rough it and just be okay, cool, I've got no medication this week.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you just move forward. You go through life,
Yeah, man. I just admire your courage so much, man. I think it's incredible. Anyone out there who is going through anything, you can get through it, man. Look at Eve's story. Connect to Eve's story. She's a complete badass. Do you remember the first time you kind of went to hospital and woke up in hospital there's something wrong with me?
Yeah, so I've had 18 broken bones in my life. And so my mom was like, there's an issue as to why you're breaking so easily. And the first time I really like went to the doctors, like they kind of all were like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just making this up. Like you're fine. You're just being over dramatic, whatever. And like nobody believed me, but it was like doctor visit after doctor visit. And like people just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Because I literally have done everything out of the ordinary. Like there's no reason I should have what I have. And so it took like a team of doctors to actually sit down and look at my case and be like, I know that this isn't plausible, but I think that's what this is. And then that's what it was.
Isn't it mental that like every story I talk about with someone with a serious kind of condition, doctors never pick up on it first? Isn't it mental that it's like it takes 4, 5, 6, 7 tries I've been like, yo, there's something wrong with me. Please just understand that. It's so crazy to me.
Yeah. Like nobody believes you. And it's like, I promise I'm not insane. I think that there's something wrong. Please just listen to me. But I think being a doctor, you kind of have, or at least the doctors that I've met, like neurosurgeons, kind of have a little bit of an ego. So they're like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I've gone to school. I've done this. You're whatever. And being like a 12-year-old kid, you don't really have a voice.
100%, man. If there's any literally neurosurgeons listening right now, listen to the kids, man. Like, listen to people. They know. How does like having your condition like affect work, schoolwork, and friendships? Is it hard, or is it strange, or is it?
It's definitely strange. So I have been doing like a hybrid schedule basically my whole life, like when it comes to school, like going back and forth between actually going to school and like being at home, because like in all of like 8th and 9th grade, I basically spent most of that in the hospital. And so it's a lot of trying to make up that schoolwork. And with friends, it's actually, I found it really interesting because when you tell people like, hi, I have like a brain tumor and like tumors in my neck or whatever, their instant reaction is just kind of like, I don't know how to handle this information. I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. And then they kind of just walk away. And I've never wanted to be the brain tumor girl, because I feel like then people kind of give you like a little bit of pity. And I don't want to be pitied. Like I have so much else to offer.
Yeah, 100%. That's just literally one part of who you are. I think one thing that is so good about our generation, or what we need to fight against, is that stigma of just because what has been taught to be normal doesn't mean that. It's like people just come as you are. People will come as they are and accept them as they are. And if that is anything, like anybody out there, if you have a brain tumor, that's who you are. If you are confused about your sexuality, that's who you are. If you are struggling because you want to change careers, that's just who you are. We just got to accept people. We've got to fight for that. We've got to fight for that quality, because everyone wants to feel like they can be who they are without anybody looking at them funny or creating a preconceived idea of what someone is. I was told that you haven't really spoke to many people about your condition. How come you wanted to come on the podcast?
Well, to be honest, your music has kind of inspired me in a way, because you are so accepting of everybody and everything that you've gone through. And I've kind of had a hard time experiencing that with my health issues and things like that. But what I have found is that when I do find people that are like me, a lot of the times they experience the same kind of loneliness type thing of like feeling like they are a freak. And it's always made me feel better about myself to know that I'm not the only one. And where I live, there aren't a lot of people just like me, like not just health issues, but like personality-wise as well. And so I thought that maybe if I talked about this, maybe I could find kids that had like the same issues as me, or like viewed the world the same way I did, and let them know that they aren't alone, essentially.
Dude, that's so cool. And I connect to that so heavy, because that's exactly the reason why I wanted to get into music, and I wanted to get into storytelling and everything. I wanted Yungblud to be a community for people who were at their wits' end, who were looking for an answer, because I don't have it, maybe you don't have it, but we all have this magic together that someone does. And I think by us coming together, the answer comes clear. It's not in any single one of us, it's in all of us, and that's what's cool. What has having your condition kind of taught you about life? I know that's a big question.
Yeah, actually, this is going to sound really weird, but in a lot of ways, I'm kind of grateful for the condition that I have because it's helped me connect to people in ways that I don't think people nowadays are able to connect. It's kind of helped me learn empathy and just being able to accept people so widely and see things from a different perspective or point of view. And when I do talk about my health conditions with some people, there are a few people that I can definitely tell it's made a difference in their life. Because I've noticed that when tragedy does hit in some extent, like, two things generally happen. Like, either people become very bitter and they close their hearts, or they kind of accept the bad but also open up their heart for those good opportunities to come and find the light in that despair or darkness. And I think that's so important to learn just in general. It has served me well in my life.
Have you ever thought about speaking, like publicly speaking? Because I think you're brilliant. I could listen to you all day. I think the way your view on the world is incredible.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Eve, honestly, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I think your story is so inspiring. I think what the world has thrown at you and the way you have kind of come out of it and not wanting pity, just being like, yo, man, this is who I am. This is who I am. Rock and roll. Is there anything you want to say to anyone out there before we wrap up, or are you vibing?
I would just say, look for the unexpected. Because a lot of the times the unexpected brings opportunities that we wouldn't have otherwise had we not been looking for them. And that's when you find yourself and find who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Could not have said that better. I'm a bit like taken aback, to be honest. You're incredible. Thank you so much for coming on. Send all my love to Salt Lake City. And hopefully, I mean, when touring's back on, we'll sort you some tickets to a show. I want to meet you all. I want to have a chat properly and have a soda and hang out, man.
Oh, I'd love to do that. You're like a big idol in my life, so it was really great for me to meet you. So thank you so much for taking your time.
No, man, thank you for taking yours. I can't wait to see you. Be safe. Look after yourself. Give my love to your mum and dad, and let's go.
It's good seeing you.
Day. I'll see you later.
You too.
See you. I absolutely love that conversation. What a beautiful soul, man. You can get more info and support for issues raised in this podcast by searching BBC Action Line. Next week, I'm speaking to the legend of the LGBTQAI+ club scene, Glyn Fussell, who founded Sync the Pink. We're going to have a chat about drag and pride. This is going to be such a fun one. Glyn is absolutely mental. I think he's more mad than me, to be honest. You can only listen to that episode on BBC Sound, so make sure you subscribe to the podcast there. Stay safe, look after each other. I love you all so bloody much. Goodbye.